Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava, page 95b, with the words Gova es hakeren min echasim meshubadim. He can collect the principal, that is, what he paid for the field, from the robber's liened property that has been sold. But he can collect the enhanced value, that is, the value of the improvements made to the field, only from unsold property. Why are both of these collected from the robber? Because the owner of the field came and took both his land and its enhanced value. The Gemara clarifies, What is it not speaking of a purchaser who is an ignoramus, who does not know whether property can be stolen or cannot be stolen? And when he purchased stolen land from the robber, he did so unintentionally, since he was under the mistaken impression that this land belongs to the robber who sold it. And even so, the owner of the land can come and take the land and its enhanced value. And if so, one may learn from the Braita that Rabbi Meir penalizes even one who acquires stolen items unintentionally. The sages say in response, no, it is speaking of a purchaser who is a Torah scholar, and he knew that the robber had no right to sell this land. The purchaser is therefore penalized and is required to return enhanced value of the land as well. I mean, if he was a Torah scholar, why did he buy it? Okay, anyway, the Gemara again tries to determine the scope of the penalty. Come and hear what was taught in the Mishnah in 100b. If one gave wool to a dyer to dye it red for him, and he dyed it black, or to dye it black and he dyed it red, Rabbi Meir says the dyer gives the owner of the wool the value of his wool, since the dyer violated the owner's instructions. It can be inferred from the Mishnah the value of his wool, yes, he must give, but the value of his wool and its enhanced value, in other words, the amount by which the value of the wool increased because it was dyed, no, he is not required to give. And if it enters your mind to say that Rabbi Meir penalizes one who acquires a stolen item unintentionally as well, the dyer should be required to return the value of his wool and its enhancement to him. Rather, must one not conclude from the Mishnah that if it was done intentionally, Rabbi Meir penalizes the robber, but if it was done unintentionally, he does not penalize him? The Gemara affirms, learn from the Mishnah that this indeed is the reasoning of Rabbi Meir. The Gemara continues its discussion in the Braita. Rabbi Yehuda says the stolen item is returned as is. Rabbi Shimon says the stolen item is viewed as though it had been monetarily appraised at the time of the robbery. The Gemara asks, what is the difference between them, since ostensibly they agree that the robber does not return the value of the enhancement to the robbery victim. Rav Zvid says they disagree with regard to enhancement that is still upon the stolen item. The disagreement concerns a case where the enhancement occurred while the stolen item... What if we lived in a world where no one stole anything and we didn't have to talk about stealing things? Why are we talking about stealing things in a world where no one steals things? Maybe if we talked about holy things and pleasant and wonderful things, the world would be a different place. And now I can really see why. I didn't see this inside, but the Vilna Gaon is. I've heard someone said that he said that the Talmud and its Aggadic tales and the Talmud in general is an expression of the exilic exilic version of Torah's Moshe. Because all we're doing is talking about people who are stealing things all day and just analyzing endlessly people stealing things. So I think that if you've made it this far and you're hearing what I'm truly feeling and seeing, I'd like to make these public service announcements every now and then in the middle of the daf for someone who has followed me this far and listened to this material. I'll just keep it at that. And you know, there is an importance because there's an importance because people do value it and people do come closer and connect with God with this. But it should be kept in balance and really be stated the ultimate purpose of why I'm doing this. Possession of the robber, when he returned the item, it was still enhanced, therefore he did not keep any of the enhancement. Rabbi Yehuda holds that the enhancement belongs to the one who was robbed, and Rabbi Shimon holds that it belongs to the robber. Rav Papa said that the disagreement between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon can be explained differently. Everyone agrees that the enhancement that is still upon the stolen item belongs to the robber. And here they disagree with regard to whether the robber can keep 1/2, or 1/3, or 1/4 of the value of the enhancement, and the remainder is kept by the owner of the animal. Rabbi Yehuda holds that the enhancement that is still upon the stolen item belongs entirely to the robber, and Rabbi Shimon holds that the robber takes 1/2, or 1/3, or 1/4 of the value of the enhancement. In other words, he is treated as a shepherd or rancher and receives the share of the enhancement that local custom dictates to be paid to that type of laborer. The Gemara cites a proof for Zvid's explanation. We learned in the Mishnah 93b, if one robbed another of a cow and it became pregnant in his possession, and then it gave birth, or if one robbed another of a ewe and it became laden with wool in his possession, and then he shared it, the robber pays according to the value of the animal at the time of the robbery. The Gemara infers from the Mishnah, if the cow gave birth, yes, he pays the value of the animal at the time of the theft, but if the cow did not give birth and is still pregnant, it is returned as is. Granted, according to the explanation of Rav Zvid, who says that according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, enhancement that is still upon the stolen item belongs to the one who was robbed, in accordance with whose opinion is this Mishnah. It is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. In accordance with whose opinion is this Mishnah? That's like a good catchword. That's a really good catchword there. Okay. It is in accordance with the opinion of Yehuda as a pregnant cow is returned as is. But according to the opinion of Rav Papa, who says that everyone agrees that the enhancement belongs to the robber, in accordance with whose opinion is the Mishnah. It is not in accordance with the opinion of Yehuda, nor is it in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, as the robber does not retain any of the enhanced value. The Gemara responds, Rav Papa could have said to you that tangent soliloquy, that's a good one, tangent soliloquy at TS, which is like, yeah, nice. T.S. Eliot is 920. Eliot was born 920, and T.S. was born 920. The Gemara responds, Rav Papa could have said to you that the inference is correct. The same is true that even if it did not give birth, the robber pays according to the value of the animal at the time of the robbery, and the enhanced value due to the pregnancy is returned to him, and that which the Mishnah teaches it then gave birth cannot serve as the basis for an inference pertaining to this discussion, as the Tana needs to cite that it gave birth in the first clause of the Mishnah, since in that case he acquires the animal due to the change of its condition. Therefore he cites that it gave birth in the latter clause as well. but it needs not to have given birth. It cannot be inferred from this Mishnah that an animal that has not given birth is returned as is. The Gemara knows it is taught in a Braita in accordance with the explanation of Rav Papa. The Braita states, Rav Shimon says, the stolen item is viewed as though it had been monetarily appraised at the time of the theft for the purpose of keeping 1/2, 1/3, or 1/4 of the value of the enhancement. Rav Ashi said, when we were studying in the study hall of Rav Kahana, we were asked a question according to the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, who says that the robber takes 1/2, or 1/3, or 1/4 of the value of the enhancement. When we remove the robber taking the stolen animal from him and paying him a portion of the enhanced value, do we remove him by paying him his share with money, or perhaps he takes his portion from the meat of the animal? As we resolve the dilemma from that which Reb Nachman says that Shmuel says, in 3 cases the court appraises the enhanced value for the parties involved in enhancing a field, and they are paid in money rather than by being given a portion of the property, and these are they: a firstborn son who makes a payment to a regular son. This is a case where 2 sons, one firstborn and the other not, inherit a field from their father. Before it is divided, they both work and enhance the field. When the time comes to divide the field, the firstborn son who receives a double portion must pay his brother for the enhancement that the latter contributed to the former's portion. This payment is given in money rather than land. And the second case is that of a creditor who is obligated to a purchaser, that is, a creditor who collects the debt from lands that were sold by the debtor. He pays money to the purchaser for the enhancements generated by the purchaser, but does not pay him in land. And the third case is that of a creditor who is obligated to orphans. That is, a creditor who collects land from the orphans of his debtor. He must pay them for any enhancements done by the orphans after their father's death. This payment is also given in money rather than land. The Gemara discusses Shmuel's statement. Ravina said to Rav Ashi, did Shmuel actually say that a creditor gives the purchaser any of the enhanced value at all? But doesn't Shmuel say a creditor collects all the enhanced value? Rav Ashi said to him, this is not difficult. Here, where Shmuel stated that a creditor does not collect the enhanced value, it was with regard to a case where there was enhancement that reaches shoulders, which means that the produce grew due to the improvements made by the purchaser is fully grown and ripened, and now can be harvested and carried upon one's shoulders. Oh, okay. It was an expression. But there, where Shmuel stated that the creditor does not collect the enhanced value, it was with regard to a case where there was enhancement that does not reach the shoulders, meaning its growth wasn't complete. Ravina said to him, but there were daily incidents of this type, and Shmuel would collect from purchasers even an enhancement that reached shoulders. Rav Ashi said to him, this is not difficult. To be continued.